Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing tips for Thursday the 10th of August. Well, if you do me a quick favour, right, don't bother subscribing. If you could click like on the video or share it on Twitter or on Facebook or whatever you want to do, that'd be great. But please, at least like the video for a bit of good luck. Because I tell you what, we was unlucky the other day at Catterick. So we had Langholm dobbed on the line. We had Oh So Chic 16-1 backed into, I think it touched 15-2 but drifted out to 11s. The only reason why that horse didn't win is because Joanna Mason, who I'm beginning to like a bit, but obviously not with that ride, she gave I don't know if it was the winner or the leader at the time, 10-length start coming round the bend and lost by, what was it, a length and a half, 2 lengths. And by the way, if the ground hadn't have quickened, that was my mistake really. If it had stayed soft, I think it could have been a very different day, because I think both of those horses that came second, you could call them unlucky losers, I think they would have ran better in soft ground. I think Langholm would have been harder to peg back, and I think Oh So Chic would have, because it loves soft ground, would have pegged back the actual winner. But it doesn't really matter now. But it was a 20 pence lucky 15. It was a free bet that came to £6. So any return on a free bet is great. But it returned, I think it was like £4.20. So not a bad return because it was a free bet. But unfortunately, for those of you that didn't place the free bet and placed with your own money, it was a slight losing day, I believe. So enough waffling. Please like the video. You will see the football bet for Saturday already posted. It will be up in the links. I don't know why, but I'm currently pointing. I don't know why. Anyway. For Thursday selections, it's a £10 stake, but you're getting plenty of runners. You are getting an afternoon, 10 pence each way, lucky 15, based at Nottingham, and then a £1 each way accumulator that comes to a 5 at the same horses. And then there's evening selections at Chepstow, which is a 10 pence each way, lucky 15, and a £1 each way accumulator. So both bets come to a 5 at each, a £10 in total. So if a £10 pushing it for you, it might be worth putting the first bet on first, and then any returns or some returns, place it in a lucky 15 for the evening, or an each way lucky 15 for the evening bet. So let me get into it. So the ground at Nottingham is soft. It's probably going to quicken, but I think it'll be fine for these horses. So the first selection is Little Muddy. I've left the price in the 240 at Nottingham, paying 4 places instead of 3. It's a horse in decent form, and I think it's probably one of the better horses in the race. I think Nottingham will probably be more suited to its run style, because it tends to race relatively prominent, although sometimes in its more disappointing runs, it's raced further back. When it ran at York, I think personally, they didn't know what the ground was. They didn't really know what the draw bias was. And I think if you run poorly at York, just put a line through it, move on. The second selection is an interesting horse. It's called First Cut. I've left the price. It should be anywhere between 25s and 66s. 1 second, I'm just going to turn my chili con carne down. You don't get that in every video. So, First Cut in the 310 at Nottingham. This horse could sneak a place. It is not a million miles behind the Principals. I think it's basically overlooked because it's from a small stable, and it ran okay. It ran to a racing post rating of 61. Well, some of the Principals ran to the low 70s. If any of those slightly underperforms, and if this horse, how do I put this? If they're trying the very best, there's no reason why this horse shouldn't be too far behind. If this horse is held up last, you know that this horse is not going to run to its best at Nottingham tomorrow. But I expect it to probably race 4th or 5th throughout, and then hopefully it stay on and improve for its previous run, which was its debut. I think it could sneak a place, and we'll soon find out if tomorrow's going to be the day, or maybe if they're saving it for a handicap. The third selection is Nanny D. I've left the price in the 10 past 4 at Nottingham, paying 4 places instead of 3. This horse has been quite progressive in all 3 all-weather runs, so we're pretty much clueless whether it acts on the turf. It's Simon and Ed Crisford. I think they're a cracking combination, or cracking trainer, whatever you want to call it. And and I think it's got a decent chance. It's top weight, so it's the best horse in the race. I do think it's on the improve, and I think it's a shocking race. So it's definitely an interesting selection. The fourth selection is Eagle Prince. I've left the price in the 4.45 at Nottingham. There was a few I fancied in this race, and what's like tipped it for me is the fact that this is 20-1 in the Racing Post. And as I was looking at another one, I was actually looking at the Scott Dixon horse as well. And so I actually chose this one, mainly because out of the two, it was 20s in the Racing Post, but it was only 9-1 in the betting on Sky Bet. So maybe they're scared of this horse, I don't know. But I fancied them both pretty much 50-50. The Scott Dixon horse and this horse, Eagle Prince. So basically, it was the much shorter odds that swayed me because I thought, hey, something's not quite right there. So let's get on to Chepstow's evening selections. So as I said, it's another 10 pence each way lucky 15 and £1 each way accumulator. Right. When it's soft at Chepstow, it favours high numbers. The ones that are drawn near the rail. Basically, I think it's the near side rail. Right. It is going to quicken, the ground is. How much by, I don't know. So come race time, it could be good to soft, so they might not bother with the rail. But currently, these horses are horses that I fancy anyway. But the bonus is for me is that they are drawn relatively close to the rail. So if they shun the rail, not because it's an inconvenience, just because they'll all race down the middle possibly. But if the near side rail is favoured, well then we've got it's another tick or another. Yeah, you know what I mean. So the first selection is Hartswood at 17-2 in the 5.30 at Chepstow, paying 5 places instead of 3. The second selection is Nordic Passage at 10-1 in the 6.30 at Chepstow, paying 4 places instead of 3. The most interesting horse is Highway Grey at 9-1 in the 7.30 at Chepstow, paying 4 places instead of 3. I think this horse should get its favoured ground, and also there's a bit more prize money at stake, so maybe this might be a race worth winning, if you know what I mean, rather than being unlucky in these much lower grade 3, 4, 5 grand handicaps. So that is probably the nap of the evening. The final selection is Stone Circle at 5-1 in the 8 o'clock at Chepstow, paying 4 places instead of 3. So those are all the selections for Thursday. If you want to get the video for Friday, if there is one, click subscribe and then you'll get a notification when I release it. Then obviously you will get Friday night's video ready for Saturday. And unfortunately, it looks as though there isn't going to be any more rain at Redcar, so we can't take advantage of a massive draw bias at Redcar unless something happens between now and the weekend. So anyway, give me a like or subscribe. I really appreciate it. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.